Okay, so I was saying there's a difference between having profit maximization or cost minimization as an objective vis-a-vis wealth maximization or shareholder value maximization. Okay, having a broader long-term goal, long-term objective is much better than having. Sorry, let me just drink water.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm not absent.
Sige, mamaya. Mamaya I'll go back to attendance.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Just remind me, please. Okay, so usually, what is cut first are, say, training of employees, because the focus is more on improving the bottom line, improving profitability. Now, this might be good for a short term, but however, for the long term, this might be very costly. And we know that firms are established with a going concern concept in mind. You will not hear, I have not heard of any company that was set up because it wants to exist only for 1 year or 2 years. Now, I'm not referring to projects. You see, projects have a lifespan of very short lifespan. So a project can be 1 year or even 6 months or even 2 years. And then after the objective is met, then it's done. We're not referring to projects here. We're referring to real companies here, where the assumption is that, in fact, in accounting, in the GAAP, the assumption is that this is a going concern, that the company is established in order to live long. Now, aside from planning duration, there's a difference. Okay, I'm having difficulty moving the, okay, in terms of risk management, okay, there's also difference. In wealth maximization, the company also focuses on how risk is mitigated or how risk is reduced, which is not really in the context of profit maximization, because the main objective is maybe to cut down on costs so that the bottom line, the net profit, will be reinforced, will be enhanced, albeit short term. So we said also it can be differentiated in terms of pricing strategy, because in profit maximization we price the services or the goods as high as possible. But in wealth maximization, it can be considered that prices could be reduced in such a way that market is cornered. Market is built over time, over the long term. So the operative word, the difference is long term versus short term. Later on, I'm going to discuss other differences in as far as these two concepts are concerned. Also a difference in terms of capacity planning. In wealth maximization, very consistent with its long-term objectives. Okay, so there is investment in long-term capacity. While in profit maximization, the firm might not invest in capacity building, like newer equipment, newer technology, because again, it's primarily focused on short-term sales, short-term performance. And we looked at this last time. We said that when we say, they say that when we focus on value maximization or wealth maximization, the company does not care for employees. Nothing can be further from the truth. We discussed this last time. We looked at Google, which is a company known for really looking long-term, where its objective is really value maximization or shareholder value maximization. And we looked at this. We learned how to navigate through Yahoo Finance. And by the way, you have an activity or a group activity where you're going to download some prices in Yahoo Finance and compare the stocks and make conclusions about the stocks. It will be a group activity, and it will be given next week. Okay, so we looked at this last time. I think we ended in this. Maximizing stock price is not incompatible with meeting the objectives or needs of the company. In fact, we mentioned last time that there's such a thing as employee stock option plan, where companies that look at stockholder value maximization or value maximization in general provide their employees with with ESOPs, with employee stock option plan, where companies are given the option to buy the stock of the company at a much reduced rate. In other words, they become part owners of the company. And if they're part owners of the company, the stake that they have for a company becomes bigger. Compare that with a regular employee who does not own part of the company, who's not a shareholder. If you're a shareholder and you're employed by the company, then I think there is this psychological impact on you to perform well, to do good, because you know that if the price of the price of the stock of the company increases, then you benefit from that. So you tend not to steal from the company, not to do things that might harm the company, because harming the company will, in fact, also harm you because you have a stake in the company. Okay, is that clear, guys? Paki-chat or pakisabi kung clear siya, kung maliwanag. Yes, sige. Any comment about that? Anyone would like to comment about that? That if you're, for example, if the company provides you with the option plan for you to buy, for example, if the price is selling now at 50 pesos per share, and then you have an ESOP where you can buy the stock at, let's say, 30 pesos. Let's say after you have worked for the company for 3 years or 5 years, then you're given the option to buy the stock at a reduced rate, for example, 50% off or 30% off. Do you think that will favor, that will have an impact on the performance of employees? What do you think, guys?
Can I try answering?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Good. Go ahead. Please kindly introduce yourself.
I'm Marco po.
Marco, sige. Marco.
Yes, I believe it will benefit both sides since
Yeah.
will be more invested in the company since they already have stocks and stakes in it, sir. And it will also, since yes, now the efficiency is now higher for the employees because they care more about their job now since they are also part owners now of the firm.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you, Marco. Do you agree, guys? Do you agree with the statement of Marco? Well said. He said that they're more invested in the company. And the result will be they will be more efficient in as far as their roles and responsibilities is concerned. And that will really be a win-win situation for the company and the employees. Compare that with the scheme before, where it's more salary-based. So chances are the employees will do things, will make decisions that will first benefit them rather than the rather than the company itself. So it's what we call a fiduciary relationship. Fiduciary means that I represent actually the company itself. I am responsible for the company. So for giving ESOP or employee stock option plan really works. And this was one of the mechanisms that companies really started doing in order to mitigate against bad decisions made by the professional managers. Because we know the structure of a company is that usually the owners of the business are not the professional managers. The owners usually have other things to do, so they employ professional managers. And how do we make sure that the professional managers will act for the benefit of the owners? That's where the employee stock option plan comes into play. And it's, as I said a while ago, it's a win-win. It's a win-win mechanism for... Okay. Now, another argument is that if we focus on value maximization, you're not caring about customers. Now, I have a question for you guys. Is satisfying customer, is taking care of customers very important for a business? Kindly chat, guys. Kindly chat in the chat box. Do you think that satisfying, or sometimes they call it romancing the customers, is important for any business? Yeah, I had a feeling that 100% of you will say yes, because we know that customers are the lifeblood of the business. Without customers, guys, the company will not survive. It won't be long before the company uh, will be put into extinction. It will not be survived without the source of the lifeblood of the business. While value maximization or wealth maximization, uh, in value maximization or wealth maximization, we're not saying that customers are not important. On the contrary, it's very important. Customer satisfaction is really very, very important. But we're saying that that should not be the main objective of the organization. That objective should be subsumed. When I say subsumed, it should be under the overarching objective that value maximization is the primary objective. And then you have, of course, secondary objectives, profit maximization, customer satisfaction. They are important. However, it should not be the main objective of a business, main primary objective of a business. Okay, so are you familiar with GAP? Okay, yes nga guys.
Yes,
I'm sure
sir.
yung GAP, yung company, they have products like yung Old Navy, yung mga shirt. Maybe you have used GAP products before. GAP used to be the darling of the crowd as far as fashion and retail apparel is concerned. Pero noong 2018, I don't know if you have heard this, but it split, no? Yung Old Navy na pinaka-popular brand nila, naging ibang company na. So the rest, guys, wala na yung original na GAP. From its glory days in the 1990s hanggang yung 2000s, wala na, no more. And you know what? Ano main objective ng GAP? It's to maximize customer satisfaction. Again, we're saying that customer satisfaction is very, very important. But it should not be the main objective of a business. Let's study for a while, ano ba yung ginagawa ng customer satisfaction? Importante yung customer satisfaction because one of the primary consideration for that is because it creates memorable first impression. You enter a store and you're wowed, you're floored by the, let's say, the ambience, by the layout of the store, by the friendliness of the service staff. Will you come back, guys? Will you be a repeat customer because of that wow experience? Pakichat nga, guys. Kayo, guys. I'm sure you have entered the store and you have either been dismayed or wowed by the layout, by the customer service. Thank you. I'm sure you'll agree with me, no? Na if you enter a store, tapos grabe yung layout, grabe yung ganda ng customer service, di ba? I'm sure you'll be wowed. Kaya nga it's very interesting. For example, yung two main competitors ngayon sa retail, kunyari yung SNR and Landers. I'm sure you have been there. So, medyo may SNR came first, parang warehouse type na, kunyari yung pati yung mga wheel balancing, yung mga tire replacement kasama dun sa katabi ng dining area. I was thinking, iniisip ba nito ng SNR na sino ba yung target customers sila? Hindi naman sa economically lesser, di ba? Medyo nasa ABC naman kahit paano yung, kasi you'll see people from the A class, B class, and B lower class maybe patronizing SNR. Kasi, pero when I first entered SNR, sabi ko, what? Although it's supposed to be laid out in such a way that prices will be lowered, pero sana man lang yung dining area, etc. Sana man lang inayos sila ng konti. Diba? Pasok si Landers. Now you see the difference, guys, between the layout, for example, of Landers and SNR. Well, these are simple things, pero that's why maganda nga magkaroon ng statistics. I don't have the statistics, but I read somewhere that Landers has been able to steal some customers from SNR simply because of the layout, and this is because of customer satisfaction. So very parang yung nuances ng customer satisfaction includes a memorable first impression. Okay, I'm sure you have entered both, no? Who among you, pakichat nga guys, when you enter both retail stores, where do you prefer to be? Where do you want to be? No? Hindi naman siya ganun ka-extravagant. Pareho naman kasi parang discount retail store to. Pero comparing the two, which do you think has the better ambience? Paki-chat nga, guys. I don't know if baka mag-isa lang ako or yeah. Thank you, Hans. How about yung iba? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Mukhang walang may sasagot pa na SNR. Yeah. Di ba? Because I believe that Landers had this in mind. Yung customer satisfaction. At least pag pupunta ka doon, medyo maganda yung dining area. Grabe yung dining area ng SNR. Parang nasa karinderya ka, di ba? Yeah, so, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, mas bago siya, pero it's really in the way the SNR was set up. Kasi pwede namang mas bago si Landers, pero because of the better layout of SNR, I'm sure mahirapan si Landers na kumuha ng to steal customers from SNR. Anyway, that's a very crude example of really being able to put to the forefront customer satisfaction, because customer satisfaction is all about creating memorable first impression. I'd like to pause for a while, guys. So who can recount, guys, a company dito sa Philippines na lang or even abroad siguro na talagang nawaw kayo, you were so impressed by, let's say, when you enter the store, yung layout niya, tapos yung customer service. Meron ba? Would like to give an example. This is all about customer satisfaction, yes?
Sir, I think Apple is one of the...
Yeah, sino to, please?
Marco.
Marco, thank you. Sige, Marco, yes.
One of the stores that really caught my eye was Apple. Kasi pagdating mo pa lang sa store po, they'll already go to you, they'll already assist you. Because their staff is knowledgeable about their products and they know like what to say to you po.
Yeah, thank you, Marco. Yung product knowledge sila, no? You will... well-trained yung mga yan, guys. They know really what to do. Okay, thank you, Marco. Apple is one example. Who else, guys? Who else can share? Anyone? Don't be ashamed, guys. A memorable experience for you as far as customer satisfaction is concerned.
Sir?
Yes? Who's this, please?
It's my name's Alisa.
Alisa, sige.
Yes. Actually, it's not really the first store, pero di ba Starbucks po keeps expanding. Yeah. So, parating may bagong branches. And yung other new branches nila are better than the older ones. So, meron, ayun, parang they're very customer oriented and maganda yung ambience ng stores. New stores, new branches.
Yeah, thank you, Alisa. No, thank you. Yeah, Starbucks is you go there not really for the coffee kasi yung coffee nila talagang mura lang talaga yun. You go there for the experience. Years ago, guys, yung bago pa rin Starbucks, no? Wala pa siguro kayo nang hindi pa kayo pinapanganak or siguro mga toddlers pa lang kayo. Iba yung guys, sandali lang there's just a knock on the door. Sandali lang please give me a few seconds. Sorry about this. Okay, so we were talking about customer satisfaction. I think all of us agree that customer satisfaction is of prime importance because enticing customers to be repeat customers is really the lifeblood of any business. Any other, let me ask for one more share about this, customer satisfaction. Anyone from the class?
Sir?
Yes, who's this, please?
Kyle po.
Kyle, thank you.
I think Coffee Bean, sir, specifically yung dun sa Evia. I think yung visuals niya and yung mga furniture inside, it's really pleasing to the eye. Makes you want to
come back.
Repeat. Yeah, come back.
Oh.
Yes,
Where's Coffee Bean? Saan to?
Near Evia, sa Evia, sir.
Evia, where's Evia? Sorry, hindi ko alam.
Not sure din eh.
Evia sa Quezon City ba to? Or?
No, it's near Las Piñas.
Near Las Piñas.
Cavite. Yeah.
Okay. Sige. Thank you. So, may example tayo on Apple, may example sa Starbucks, may example sa Coffee Bean. Okay, so we see how companies make deliberate efforts in order to entice their customers to be happy, to feel really enjoyable, to really enjoy their experience in going there. Let me give you one experience. This is not, this is more of a experience in buying a product. Years ago when you're familiar with Florida's Natural, right? The orange, the grape, etc. So they have this line of products, lemon, etc. So years ago when they first started selling their products here, I bought some, I bought some, how many pieces? I think 6 pieces of orange, the Florida's Natural orange, the one with the pulps. So when I got home, I placed it in the refrigerator. And then the following day, when I opened the orange, how do you call that? In that box, in that pack, and then I poured orange in the glass. I noticed that there was this green slimy thing floating in the orange. I got shocked because wow, this is of course this means that the product is dirty. So I didn't know what to do. Of course I couldn't go to the grocery store. What I did was to look at the package itself, and then I saw there an email address, and the email address is in USA, in Florida. So I emailed. You know what? After a few minutes, they called me. Talk about customer satisfaction. Talk about after sales service. They called me. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting it. I was thinking that they'll reply, and maybe because I think it was 12 noon, and I didn't know what time it was in the US. Maybe it was maybe it was already late night or whatever. So after that, they called me, and then I was surprised because there was an American on the other end of the line here, and he was in Florida, and he was asking me for details, and he told me this might have happened because of the transportation. But I said yes, it might have happened because of the transportation, but still, I don't want to patronize your product anymore, and I don't want to open the rest because it might also contain that green slimy whatever that was, no? And he said that we're going to work on that. So, and then he hung up, and the following day, there was this American guy and a Filipino who came to my house, and they brought 2 boxes. One box had six orange in it, orange packs. So they brought 6. And then another one, another new product launch that they were launching for me to try, and that also that was 6. So they gave me 18 big boxes of orange. I was really floored. I was really wow, what this is really customer service. This is what you call after sales service par excellence. So this is what Florida's Natural did because of their commitment to serve their customers better. And I'll never forget that. Every time I share this with my class, I always tell them that this is really what customer satisfaction is all about. Really going the extra mile in order to meet the needs or meet the demands of the customer. Okay, so what does customer satisfaction, what's another phase of customer satisfaction? We know that this is my example, exceeding customer expectations, which was exactly my example. It really exceeded my expectation. Customer satisfaction can also take in the form of knowing the purchase patterns in today's digital world. That's why it's not surprising that you have this Lazada, you have this Shopee, and you have GCash, for example, where you can pay for any service digitally without having to bring money. All of these things are happening because of changing purchase patterns of consumers. So companies align themselves to the purchase patterns so that they're able to meet the needs of the customers. So I'm sure we can have many examples about this. I'm sure many of you patronize Lazada or Shopee. By the way, the knock on the door that came in was just Lazada, a delivery, because I was ordering some bicycle parts because I want to go back to biking because of this COVID-19. I gained some weight, so uh, I want to go back to cycling because that's my passion. Uh, on the side, guys, I do bike. I love biking. I bike from Manila to Baguio, Baguio to Sagada, and I bike in Mindanao. I bike in Visayas. For those of you who are bikers out there, maybe one time we can bike together. I use mountain bike, okay, so that I can go trailing. All right. So sorry for that extra advertisement. So what does customer satisfaction look like also? This is very important, influential channels and touch points. So this is where distribution comes into play, etc. So this is more marketing side, okay? Marketing side. I won't discuss this anymore because I'm sure you have discussed this in your marketing, okay? Also, wowing customers mean getting as much information from your customers on how they will react to the new service or product. And another one, okay, so customer satisfaction is really very important because it provides insights on how to attract customers. And it drives businesses, it drives repeat businesses even if there's a lower price or offer from customers, competitors. So kahit na sabihin natin mas mababa yung pricing ng isa kaysa dun sa ano mo, pero nakapag-develop na kasi ng customer loyalty, no? And you won't for example, guys, case in point, may mga tao na talagang Apple talaga yung ano nila, they're very loyal to Apple, nari yung iPhone. So kahit na may Huawei, may Samsung, and they're coming up with the Note 20, etc. Si Huawei, magaganda din yung product, they will not transfer. Kasi loyal na sila dun sa Apple. And maybe the reverse also, si Samsung, or I don't know, mas Johnny come lately kasi si Huawei. All right, so I hope guys these are clear. Loyal customers come back more often. What's cross-sell opportunity? Could somebody please guess what cross-selling is? Anyone? Ano ba yung cross-selling? Any idea what cross-selling is? Cross-selling opportunity?
Sir, selling different products po.
Yes, it's correct, no? Kunyari, customer ka, loyal customer ka na ni Apple, kunyari. And then, because you're a loyal customer, madali ka nang bentahan din ng ibang products nila, new products nila. Kasi ando doon ka na eh. No? It will be easier for Apple now to sell to you other products that they may come up with. That's what we call cross-sell opportunity. And loyal customers are more likely to try these new products. Okay. Then loyal customers, okay, ito yung importante. Anong tawag dito, guys? Recommend a business service. Have you heard of the term WOM? Anyone? Have you heard of the
Word of mouth.
Yes, correct. Thank you. That's the word of mouth, guys. Uy, ang ganda ng ganito, ang ganda ng ganitong product. Then when you say that to your friends, kasi naniniwala yung mga kaibigan mo sa'yo, they believe in you, they believe in your standard ng ng appreciation ng product, then chances are they might be enticed or encouraged to also try the product. So nagkakaroon ng word of mouth effect, no? And nagkakaroon niya ng tipping point, dumadami hanggang nagkakaroon ng higher customer loyalty base. And of course, ito alam natin na pag may loyalty kasi guys, the profit that you derive from that customer tends to increase over the life of the retained customer. Kaya, sandali let me choose this. Kaya very important guys yung concept. Have you heard of this concept? Yung ano, yung sorry for the drawing. Hindi pa kasi okay. So imagine this is a bucket, guys. Sorry sa drawing ko, ha. Imagine this is a bucket. Now, companies would try to take in customers by investing in them, no? So they will spend pesos or money in order to take in customers. Nothing wrong with that, guys. So they would invest in maybe promotions, no? Promotions, advertisements, so that magiging kilala yung product, promotional price, no? So sa pricing, they will invest in that, maybe give offers. Okay. If you buy this, may kasamang ganito, etc. That's in order to get the customer. However, pag andito na yung customer, guys, ano nangyayari? Their service sucks, no? Their service sucks. That's why, okay, you have here a leak. May leak dito. So they call this the leaky bucket theory. Leaky bucket theory. So in a nutshell, guys, yung leaky bucket theory na yan, how can a company survive if they keep on spending for this promotion and yet they don't take care of it in after-sales service, for example? So customers tend to go out of the company. Hindi pa nga umaabot ng isang taon, wala na. So the rate of entry is even lower than the rate of exit of customers. So before they wouldn't know that sooner than later, mawawala na silang mawawala na yung customer base sila, tapos magpo-fold na yung company. Ang daming ganyan, guys. Ang daming nagpo-fold up na company ngayon. You try to look at YouTube, just makikita natin. So many companies have already fallen by the wayside. Okay, so customer loyalty is important because it leads to repurchasing. So usually mga products, my lifespan yan. Pag wala na, pag nasira na, then dun sila ulit babalik. And as I mentioned a while ago, cross-selling, and then reducing price sensitivity. Ibig sabihin ng reducing price sensitivity, kasi in general, customers are price sensitive. Magkonting increase lang, ayaw na nila. Pero pag loyal ka talaga, kahit itaas mo pa yan, no, hindi sila magiging sensitive to that changes. And of course, as we mentioned a while ago, this will generate word of mouth. Okay? So this is just a repeat. So importante, guys, importante yung customer satisfaction. However, guys, this should not be the warp and woof of the organization. Kasi kung talagang customer satisfaction, edi magkaroon ka ng cashier dyan na libre para sa lahat, yun talagang magwawaw yung customers natin. That's not the point, no? Ang point natin dito, okay lang yung mga promotion, okay lang yung customer satisfaction. However, they should be subsumed under the more important objective of the firm, which is to create value. Any promotion, any marketing activity that does not create value for the firm will not be a good marketing strategy. Thus, ang marketing dapat formulate nila yung mga strategies nila in terms of how they will contribute to shareholder value. Hindi pa pwede yung, sige, gastos dito, gastos doon ng promotion. Basta para magkaroon ng customers, pero hindi naman tinitingnan dito yung effect nun din sa shareholder value. Okay? There should be a deliberate effort on the marketing side to make sure that any promotional efforts should be in line with maximizing shareholder value. Okay, clear yun, guys? Clear? Any questions? Any reactions?
None po.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, so this, importante ito, no? Kasi minsan nagkakaroon ng conflict yung mga different departments, different functions sa isang company. I used to work for a company where grabe yung manufacturing company yung company namin noon. Tapos we export to Europe, to US. And then talaga may conflict yung different departments, different functions. Si marketing, sinasabi nila sila yung bida kasi sila yung kumukuha ng customers. So they will promise the moon to the customers. Ang problema, it did not coordinate with operations. Kasi sa operations, wala naman silang capability na gawin yung pinamis ng marketing. Okay? So, magkakaproblema na ganito. That's what we call the silo mentality. Yung silos, guys, these are structures na they're like either cylindrical or rectangular, which is oftentimes used to store grains, rice or corn, etc. So, they're usually tall para hindi mapasok ng mga rodents. Tapos walang it's really just a structure, no? Para to protect the let's say the crop from rodents. Ang mga silos, guys, walang connection sa ibang silos. So some companies operate like that. May silo si marketing, may silo si operations, may silo si finance, may silo si accounting, may silo si IT, may silo si HR. May silo, kanya-kanya kasi silang silo, kanya-kanya silang kingdom, kanya-kanya silang turf. So what happens? Hindi connected yung company. So, you know what happens? It leads to the failure of the company. Okay? So it's important that any marketing effort should be tied up with finance, with HR, etc., with operations. Kailangan may interlinkages itong mga to. Kailangan they should be working together towards the attainment of the main objective, which is value maximization, which is shareholder value maximization. Marketing should adopt a shareholder value approach so that it shifts from being a specialist activity. When you say specialist, marketing lang, no? Marketing side lang siya. Any marketing effort should be done as part of an integral part of general management process. Okay? So I hope that's clear. No? So dapat ang marketers dapat extend nila yung skill base nila also to include modern financial planning technique. So nakikita natin dito yung importance ng financial planning technique kasi hindi pa pwede mga marketing efforts na hindi titinan din yung impact sa finance. Okay? Because finance plays a role in particular in value maximization. Okay, so important, guys, to conclude this, maximizing stock price does not mean customers are not critical to success. Okay? So let me clarify that. No, in most businesses, keeping customers happy is very important, but it should only be the route to value maximization or to wealth maximization. Is this concept clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, yung iba, paki-chat nga, guys, please. Kung clear siya, o paki-yes, or kung may questions kayo. Okay. Salamat, ha. You might have observed that I keep on asking kung clear kasi I don't want really to be just a parrot here talking na ayun pala, I don't make sense anymore. So I will be requesting your feedback, guys, either through chat or through you talking to the mic, using your microphone to voice your opinion or your answer. Okay. Salamat, guys. Salamat. Okay. Ito very important to, no? So kanina before sabi natin na if you're maximizing value, then you're not taking good care of your employees. Nothing can be farther from the truth. If we're maximizing value, then we might not be putting priority to our customers. That nothing can be further from the truth. Thirdly, pag daw nagva-value maximization tayo o wealth maximization, we become a social outlaw. What does that mean? What does social outlaw mean? Bahala ng mas masirang environment, basta kumita lang. Yun daw ang value maximization. That's terribly wrong, guys, no? Because that's not true. Okay, I don't know if you have discussed in your other subjects this book, The Corporation. Have you done that, guys? Paki-yes nga o no? I just want to know. Okay, yung iba, paki-chat.
No,
yeah.
sir.
Okay, no, good.
No, sir.
Yeah, good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now, I'd like to take this opportunity to encourage you. Ito guys, anyway, ipopost ko ipopost ko itong PowerPoint na to after we're done discussing the slides. I'm going to post it. Andito yung yung site na to. Where's this? Is that here? No. Let me just copy this. No, not this one. Okay, bibigay ko dito sa chat ko guys para may access na kayo. And then I'll give this as a bonus activity, okay? Bonus activity for you to view this. Optional lang siya, bonus activity. If you want to view it, then view it. There's a book actually on this, but it's a video. Kaso medyo mahaba-haba lang yung video, mga 2 hours. But first, yung bonus na to, you should honestly say that you viewed it. Okay, chat ko lang dito, sorry. Na pinanood nyo siya, tapos you write a reaction or reflection paper about what you saw. Okay, so again, it's optional. Okay, I'm going to give this as bonus points. So it's this one. Okay, so let me. It's about the crimes of many companies.
Que estaba en la plaza y que tomaba las decisiones en grandes asambleas.
You've got the idea. GoDaddy.
Y al final.
Okay.
When there's a world of options at my fingertips, there are no limits to create a story for every home.
To avoid.
I'll just show the first few seconds. So this is all about the corporation.
150 years ago, the business corporation was a relatively insignificant institution. Today, it is all pervasive. Like the church, the monarchy, and the Communist Party in other times and places, the corporation is today's dominant institution. This documentary examines the nature, evolution, impacts, and possible futures of the modern business corporation. Initially given a narrow legal mandate.
Okay.
What?
So in a nutshell, guys, this movie is taken from a book, The Corporation by Joel Bakan. It tells us about the quote-unquote crimes of corporations, of how they pollute the environment, of how they exploit children, of how they exploit women, of how they exploit poor countries. So this hopefully will raise a level of awareness to us that there are companies like this, and it begs the question, should we now patronize these companies that destroy the environment, that exploit the minorities, exploit the vulnerable sectors of the society, like children? So that's a food for thought. However, you'll have to invest around 2 hours. Okay, but you don't have to watch it all at the same time. But I would encourage you to do that. And then if you're going to do this activity, you have to write in your reaction paper that you really honestly watch the whole movie and then come up with a reaction paper. Okay? How did you find the movie and what's your reaction to it? So again, this is optional if you want to watch that movie. Okay, so it's from The Corporation. Now, have you heard of the triple bottom line, guys? Paki-chat nga ng yes or no. Ever heard of the triple bottom line? Yung format, I'm going to post it na lang, no? Okay, good. Okay, let me use gamitin ko na lang itong note natin. No? Okay, I'll just make a new note. All right. So triple bottom line, guys. Okay, so as business students, we have to know this. I'm sorry, guys, for the penmanship. I'm using a digital pen. Triple bottom line. So another name for this is 3 P's or the 3 E's. Okay. Before we answer this, guys, let me ask you one question. Now, this is the firm. Okay. And we know that the firm does not only affect itself. There are many parties that would want the firm to succeed. Okay, and we call those parties stakeholders. Those parties that are impacted by the firms. So these stakeholders, of course, would want the firm not to harm them. In fact, what they want is for the company or for the firm to provide benefits to the stakeholders. Can you identify, guys, who the stakeholders are of any company? Just shout it out sa mic nyo. Who do you think are stakeholders of any company? Anyone?
Sir, the investors po.
Yeah, of course. Now, there are two types of investors. Anong klase? No? So, ito dito ha. Dalawang klase kasi investors. Sino investors?
Sir, is it external and internal po?
External and internal. Okay. Pwede rin yung ganun. Kaso, I'm thinking of another investors from a financial perspective. But thank you. No? So
Long-term.
Okay. Pwedeng long-term or short-term. But I'm thinking of another classification of investors from a financial perspective.
Sir, yun ba yung mga banks and financial institutions?
All right. Yung financial institutions,
Passive
ano sila?
and capital.
Sorry?
Passive and capital investors.
Passive, sorry?
Passive investors and capital
Okay,
investors.
passive investors, capital investors. Okay, pwede rin yun. Pero sige pa, ano pa? Ano yung nasa isip ko? Ano? This has something to do with the nature of the investment in terms of their, let's say, their risk nila at saka yung quote-unquote ownership nila sa business.
Sir, shareholders.
Shareholders, yon. Okay? Shareholders and sino isa? These are investors.
Stockholders.
Shareholders or stockholders, they're the same.
Oh.
So pag sinabi nating investors, they are the ones that put in money to the firm, no? So pwedeng shareholders, they put in capital. Sino pa? Sino pang isang investors? Generally, dalawa to.
Sir, is it venture capitalists?
Venture capitalists. Venture capitalists can be part shareholders then, no? But the main ones are, letter C, sino to?
Customers, sir.
Customers. No, customers do not really put money in, they buy the product, no?
Creditors, sir.
Ha? Sorry?
Creditors.
Yes, creditors, yung mga nagpapahiram, no? So dalawang klase, guys, ang investors, ha? Una, yung investor na nagiging owner ng company. These are the shareholders. Yung pangalawa naman, creditors, they also put money there but in the form of debt, no? Pinapautang nila yung firm. So sulat natin dito. So these are shareholders to. Shareholders, tapos ito naman yung creditors. Okay? We'll discuss this more in greater detail, no? Shareholders and creditors. By the way, while we're at it, which one, guys, which of this, there's a principle in finance, okay, sulat ko na dito, but we're going to discuss this. A very fundamental principle of finance. Fundamental principle of finance. It's called the risk and return principle. Okay, let me repeat this. Risk return principle. And it is that the higher the assumed risk, the greater the expected return. Okay, sorry for my handwriting. Okay, let me repeat that. No? It's a fundamental principle of finance, the risk and return principle. The higher the assumed risk, the greater the expected return. Natural, guys, diba? If you're going to assume a greater amount of risk, you will have to demand, you will have to expect a greater return. Okay, so among the two guys, shareholders and creditors, who do you think assumes the greater amount of risk?
Creditors.
Creditors. Okay, thank you for that. Bakit? So who's this? Who answered that?
Trisha po,
Trisha.
Almandres.
Okay. Trisha, bakit kaya creditors?
Kasi sir, usually po creditors, they loan big amounts of money while shareholders po, for example sa PSE, they get to choose how much they invest in, and usually po kung ano lang po yung par value na nakalagay sa PSE, ayun po yung ibibigay nila.
Alright, that's good. Kaso take note lang na when you invest sa PSE, you're not actually investing dun sa company. Ang PSE is just a mechanism for trading. So meron akong shareholder ako, no? May stock ako kunyari ni Jollibee, and then ibebenta ko siya sa market, sa PSE, then somebody will buy it, no? So parang nag-transfer lang tayo ng ownership. Ako dating shareholder, since binenta ko na sa stock market, ikaw yung bumili, ikaw na ngayon yung investor. Ikaw na ngayon yung owner ng stock na yon. So it does not really go to the company anymore, no? Nasa market na siya, buy and selling na siya sa market. Siguro pag sinasabi natin shareholders, either bago yung company, tapos maglalagay tayo ng pera sa company. Or yung company, humihingi pa ng panibagong kunyari mag-i-issue siya ng panibagong shares of stock, dun mapupunta sa company ngayon yung pera. But not necessarily pag nasa stock market, parang buying and selling lang yan, no? Parang buying, kunyari phone, to make the example very crude. May phone ako, ibebenta ko sa market, no? Is that the right analogy? Parang hindi yata, sorry. Erase, no? So, pag nasa stock market yung transaction natin, buying and selling of the stock, the money does not really go to the company anymore, no? Wala nang pakialam si company, kunyari si Jollibee, binenta ko yung shares ko, binili ng isang tao dun sa market, so siya na yung may-ari ng share na yun, wala nang pakialam si Jollibee dun. Okay, let me answer that question, no? Thank you for those who answered. I appreciate really the contribution, and please don't be afraid to say your piece. Kasi we learn all from your contribution. Okay, we are not going to treat here any answer as quote unquote stupid. So don't be afraid, guys. Safe yung environment natin. Maganda yung nagsisharing tayo ng ideas. And thank you so much for those who have been. Trisha, thank you so much for that answer. Pati iba sino po ba yung iba? Sorry nagme-memory gap ako. So far, yung mga nagsishare ng answers nila, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It will really make our discussion here very fluid and more robust. Kasi sa totoo lang, guys, ayoko yung ako lang nagsasalita dito. Gusto ko magsishare tayo. Okay? So in order to answer that question, ang totoo niyan, guys, mas risky si shareholder, no? Kaysa kay creditor. You know why? Sa liquidation process, kunyari, magfo-fold up na yung company, may pecking order yung babayaran. Ang babayaran nyo muna, si creditors. Okay? Tapos si shareholder din, may mga ranking din yan, no? Unang babayaran si preferred shareholders. Huli na lang, guys, si common shareholders. So, in terms of paying back, kung ano man yung invest mo, okay, mas delikado, guys, si shareholder, mas risky siya. Kaya, guys, because of that, shareholders tend to demand that they have greater returns. Okay, ano ba returns ni creditors, guys? Why will finance institutions or banks or other lending agencies lend to a company? What do they get? What's their motivation for that? Sige nga.
Sir, interest?
Yes, correct. Interest, no? Interest payments. Ito yung motivation nila. Ano pa? So, kunyari, long-term bond siya. So, every year or every 6 months, binabayaran sila ng company in the form of interest. What else, guys?
Dividends.
Dividends. Creditors do not get dividends from the firm. Ano kukuha nila, ha? But thank you for those answers, ha? Ano pa?
Sir, they have a steady cash flow income po.
Yeah, in the form of interest, yan, ano? Okay, you're correct. Steady cash flow in the form of interest. But what else do they get? Siyempre, makukuha nila at the end of the term of the debt, ano makukuha nila?
Commission.
Yung commission yun in the form of interest na yun. Sa dulo, guys, ano makukuha nila?
Principal and interest.
Yun, interest plus the principal. Siyempre, dapat ibabalik yung hiniram. Kunyari, humiram ng 10 million, so depende dun sa term, yung sa interest rate, so regularly magbabayad yung company na umutang ng interest, and then at the end of the period, babayaran yung interest plus the principal. So this is what a creditor gets. No? This is the motivation for lending money. How about a shareholder? Shareholder dito natin ilagay. Ano motivation ni shareholder? Bakit ka mag-i-invest dun sa stock? Ano makukuha mo dun? Siyempre, you'll invest there because you want to get something in return. Hindi naman pwedeng, mag-i-invest ako sa Jollibee kasi mahal na mahal ko yung company nila. It doesn't matter kung makakuha ako ng anything. I don't care because I just love Jollibee. Wala kang makikitang ganun na guys, na proposition, ha? So, why? What's the motivation for shareholders to invest in a company of their choice? Why? Una, nabanggit na to kanina, no? Who was that who answered? Letter D. Sino yung sumagot kanina?
Dividends, sir.
Guys, pakiano lang, hindi ko pa familiar yung voice, no? Who's this?
Montero, sir.
First name?
Enrique.
Enrique, thank you. You're correct. Dividends, no? Dividends. Okay, for example, ako guys, nakwento ko na yata sa inyo, nag-invest ako sa Jollibee 30 plus years ago. It betrays my age, no? Sorry. 30 plus years ago, nag-invest ako sa Jollibee. Okay. San Miguel din, nag-invest ako. Nung nag-demutualize yung Manulife at saka yung Sun Life, nagkaroon din ako ng stock nila. Now, this BDO, nag-invest din ako. Now, these companies have been paying dividends regularly. No? Si Jollibee, quarterly. Si San Miguel, semi-annually or ano. Basta may dividend sila lagi. Ang malaking magbibigay ng dividend si Sun Life at saka si Manulife, no? So, a shareholder, especially kung maganda yung performance ng company, nagbibigay ng dividends yan. Okay? They issue dividends. And there are many reasons why dividends are issued. We're going to learn this later on before the term ends, pag-aaralan na natin yung dividend policy ng company. There's a reason why. And tell you what guys, unahin ko na, bakit nagbibigay ng dividends, nag-i-issue ng dividends yung company? This is a financing function. Why? Masasagot nyo na yan guys. What do you think? Pakigas nga, pakigas.
Sir, para ma-motivate yung mga stockholder.
Ma-motivate yung stockholders, okay, pwede rin yun. Pero ano yung pinaka-main reason? You have been hearing me say this. You have been hearing me say this since nung Tuesday. Lagi ko na sinasabi yan eh. So what could be that motivation? This is a financing function, no? So yung decision to give dividends is because, ano kaya? Because you have been hearing this. Alam niyo yan guys. Magugulat kayo kung guess lang guys, guess. May nag-chat ba? May nag-chat, tingnan natin. Return on investments, okay, related yon. Pero you've been hearing me say this phrase. In order to, may sumagot, in order to, Madeline, malapit na. Malapit na. Sabi mo, maximize profit, attract new customers, makakalimutan yung main objective. You're forgetting the main objective, which is
wealth maximization.
Yes, correct. It's to maximize shareholder value. Ang finance guys, guided siya ng principle na yon. Should we distribute dividends or should we keep the money muna and flow it back to operations? Kasi syempre, pag mag-distribute ng dividends, maglalabas ng cash, di ba? Assuming it's a cash dividend. Ang tanong ng finance, ano mas maganda? Ibabalik ba natin yung cash sa mga shareholders, or should we keep the money first and maybe plow it back to operations, invest in in new machinery, etc. So ganun ang tanong ng finance. And the answer is they will declare dividends. They will declare or not declare dividends in the context of what will maximize shareholder value, what will maximize the wealth of the organization. And based on that principle, guided by that principle, they will now make a decision. Yun. So kita nyo guys, kahit dito sa decision making ng dividends, ang objective pa rin, so finance will have to compute kung which option will now maximize shareholder value. Okay? Is that clear, guys? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Isa pa, guys, isa pa. Ano pang motivation ng shareholders? Why will they invest in a company? Sabi natin, guys, mas risky yung proposition na shareholder ka as against creditor. So because of that, pag shareholder ka, consistent with the principle of risk and return, na if you're assuming a greater amount of risk, you should be rewarded with a greater expected return. So what's that other one, guys? Na mas importante pa kaysa dividends. Bigay kayo ng example.
Sir?
Yes, sige.
Stock price appreciation.
Yun. Who's this, please?
Julius po.
Julius, thank you. Very good, Julius. Tama. It's called, ang tawag dyan, capital appreciation. It's called capital appreciation. Or stock price appreciation. Okay. So for example, you look at the company, kasi there are two decision-making as far as investing is concerned. Pwedeng fundamental analysis or technical analysis. Pag fundamental analysis, guys, sulat mo nga para additional information sa atin. It's called fundamental analysis. Sa fundamental analysis, you take a look at the fundamentals of a company, yung balance sheet, yung mga income statement, yung nature ng business nila. While si technical analysis, we don't look at the fundamentals of a business. Rather, we take a look at the stock prices, yung history niya. So ang ginagawa sa technical analysis, you take a look at patterns, no? Patterns dun sa stock price. Kasi ang paniniwalang technical analysis, history will just repeat itself. Yung behavior ng stock price, kunyari pataas yan, pababa, so may mga charts sila na tinitinan, so they don't really take a look at the balance sheet, the income statement, kasi ang paniniwala nila, na yung mga figures doon, reflected na doon sa stock price. Kaya the stock price will tell us everything, yung galaw ng stock price. So nakasubsume na doon yung mga information doon sa financial statements. So medyo magkaiba tong analysis na to, no? Yung fundamental at saka yung technical analysis. Well, anyway, guys, going back here, ang shareholder, they will tend to get dividends, and what's more important is capital appreciation. If you recall, guys, naalala nyo si Google, when it opened, ilan yung stock price na? 50 plus yata. How much is it now? 2,000 plus? So if you invested, guys, in 100 shares of Google, I think I mentioned this to you, no? Sabihin natin 1,000 shares of Google. So let's say $55. So you invested $55 in Google, no? Noong 2003, 2004. Fast forward 2021, magkano na yung stock price ito? 2,000 plus, I think it's almost 3,000, no? Or 2,000, sabihin natin 2,500, no? Nakalimutan ko lang yung price. So you now have yung $55,000 mo, ngayon, 2,500,000 na. You see, guys, that's what we call capital appreciation. Diba? Kahit anong bangko pa, linagay mo yung 55,000 na yan, fast forward mo sa 2021, wala, hindi ka aabot ng 2,500,000 plus. Hindi pa pwede, guys. Ganun ang returns, guys, sa stocks. Lalo na kapag if you invest in well, of course, depende rin yan sa sa risk appetite at saka dun sa objective mo. for people like you guys, ang objective yung dapat more on long term kayo kasi bata pa kayo eh. So I strongly urge you to start investing. No? Pero don't just put your money in the bank kasi it's ridiculous guys. Tingnan mo. Sabihin ko lang sa iyo kunyari nag-invest kayo ng sorry for putting this in kasi kunyari nag-invest tayo ng let's say sabihin natin 1 million, no? 1 million pesos sa bangko. Interest of prevailing interest ngayon. Sabihin natin 1% na lang para 1% na lang, no? Para madaling mo compute. Yung 1% na yan, guys, in one year's time, that will be magkano? 10,000, di ba? 10,000. Yung 10,000 na yan, hindi pa sa lahat sa iyo yan. Kasi may share dyan si Big Brother. No? Si Big Brother kukunin yung 20% yan, so less 2,000 yan. Okay. So yung 1 million mo, kumita ng 8,000. Yun. But that's not the whole story. No? Ang problema, yung pera mo, at the end of 1 year, na naging 1,008,000 na yan, your money also lost value. Because of what, guys? Because of letter I?
Inflation, sir.
Inflation. Magkano yung average inflation? Ilan yung average inflation natin? Sabihin natin 4%. Yun. While your money was increasing by 1% per year, it was also being reduced by 4% per year. Okay. So, ano masasabi natin? Maglalagay lang kayo guys ng pera sa bangko for emergency purposes. Okay, so either you become an entrepreneur by putting your money in a business or putting it in an investment that's better than banks, no? Kasi wala tayong makukuha sa bank eh. Naglalagay lang tayo ng pera sa bangko for emergency purposes lang yan. So 6 months kunyari ng cash flow kasi kunyari mawalan ka ng trabaho. So kailangan mo dapat ng mga 6 months para para medyo may pang-apply ka sa panibagong work, etc., etc. Mga living expenses, guys. So you put your money para lang sa emergency purpose in the bank, but for investment purposes, no. No way, guys. Don't put it there. Either pwede kayong sa mutual fund, no? Kasi mutual fund, you have the benefit of your money being managed by mutual fund managers, or kung sa banko guys meron tayong tinatawag na UITF, no? Unit Investment Trust Fund. So explore these possibilities, no? Although hindi naman to guys subject in investment, pero tatamaan talaga natin sa discussion. Clear so far guys? Clear so far?
Yes sir.
So may may value ba itong discussion natin kahit papaano?
Meron po sir.
Okay, thank you. Parang isa lang nagsabing may value. Meron ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, salamat.
Yes, sir.
Salamat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry guys, I need to be assured na may value naman tong dinidiscuss natin. Okay, going back here. Sino pa guys yung Tell me, sino pa yung mga stakeholders ng firm? Sino pa? Which other parties, which other institutions or parties are interested in the well-being of the organization, of the firm? Sino pa? Employees, yes, of course. Stakeholders yung employees. Siyempre, pag bumagsak yung business, wala na sila. No? Sino pa? Who else, guys?
Government.
Government, of course. Bakit si government? Why generally the government would want the firm to succeed? Bakit, guys?
For the economy of the country.
For the economy and mas specific doon, Taxes, di ba? Saan ba nanggagaling yung Thank you, taxes. Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Eliza, GDP. No? Pero ang pinaka talaga, tax. Saan ako kumukuha ng pera yung government? Sa companies, corporate tax, and sa individual taxpayers. So tax, importante yan. Okay, who else guys? Sino pa?
Your customers.
Customers, of course. Siyempre, ang customers, may stake din sila dun sa organization. Gusto nila yung product na generate ng firm safe siya, hindi siya poisonous. Kunyari, di ba? Recently, how many years ago? 3 years, 4 years? Nabalitaan sa China, for example, na yung infant, yung milk, infant, may mga dinadagdag na mga poisonous na So talagang nagpanic yung mga Chinese mothers, no? So ngayon makikita natin, minsan makikita mo sa video, some would go abroad, kunyari sa Australia, sa US, just to buy infant milk. Kasi nga, they didn't trust the firms because ang reputation, maglalagay ng mga, I forgot the chemical na linalagay nila, which is really harmful for the baby, for the infant. Which, by the way, guys, I'd like to encourage you really to watch the film, The Corporation, kasi it's all about yung thuggery ng mga companies. All right, who else, guys? Sino pa? Bilis ang oras. Sino pa, guys?
Sir, the vendors and suppliers of the firm.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for that. Vendors, suppliers. But suppliers are also stakeholders of the business. Yan. Suppliers are also stakeholders. Siyempre, gusto nilang mag-succeed yung firm para mabayaran sila. At saka siyempre yung suppliers, customer nila yung firm eh. Diba? Sinong supplier, guys, ang gusto mag-fail yung customer niya? Of course not. No? Okay, who else, guys? May naisip po kayo? Yes?
Sir, in terms of tradings po.
Oo, sino?
Trading unions. Yung mga trading unions.
Okay,
po.
pwede yung trading unions. No? So like, we can include that. Ito yung conglomeration ng mga companies in the same industry. Trading unions. Who else, guys?
Media, sir.
Media, okay. Media, okay din, pero not so much kasi ang media, ang gagawin niyan, talagang kung may ginagawang shenanigan yung firm, titirahin niya, di ba? So, but the media, I think, does not, unless binabayaran sila ng firm, no? Does not have, I think, any pecuniary interest in the firm. But thank you for that answer, no? May nakakalimutan kayong isa?
Sir, community.
Yun. Community, no? Community. The community where the firm is established. Of course, they would want the firm to obey environmental laws, no? Ayaw nila na ipopollute yung yung environment nila. Diba? It's not rare for us to see in the news, for example, magtatayo ng isang piggery sa isang place. Tapos makikita mo yung mga residents near the area, magko-complain kasi punong-puno na ng flies yung nila, they can't eat normally anymore kasi diba, I heard of that incident. I think it was in Pampanga or Tarlac na kinumplain talaga ng mga residents kasi nag-establish ng piggery doon and the residents were already there before the company was established. So talagang affected hindi na sila makakain ng So the community has a stake, of course. And not only for that, for employment also. Kung malaki yung organization, malaki yung firm, and hopefully the firm realizes that sana ipa-prioritize sila yung mga those living near the area. Maganda yon kasi beneficial dun sa community yon, no? All right? So you have here, guys, many stakeholders. Maraming stakeholders dito. That's why sabi nila guys na maybe shareholder value maximization is not enough. Okay. So maybe shareholder value maximization, value maximization, maybe this is not enough. Maybe it should be expanded to stakeholder value maximization. So there's this concept now, no? Hindi na yata sufficient yung shareholder value kasi baka kung shareholder value, sila lang tinitinan, no? It should be stakeholder value. Sorry guys for my writing. Stakeholder value maximization. As discussed, guys, there are so many stakeholders dun sa business. Kaya nga there's what we call the 3 E's, no? Ito yung triple bottom line. 3 E's or 3 P's. So it says here that the firm should focus on 3 E yan, no? Or 3 P. Sorry, hindi pantay-pantay, no? So that should be economy. Yung profitability ng firm, syempre, importante yan. Ecology. And in general, employee or any yung persons that are involved with the company. So that's what we call the 3 E's. Or the 3 P's, this is your profit, planet, and people. Okay, so people, profit, planet. So that's what we call the triple bottom line, where the companies now are encouraged not just to look at the shareholders, but to take a look also at stakeholders in general. Although mas mahirap tong stakeholder, guys, kasi what do you think can be a difficulty dito sa for the professional managers, for the CEOs in managing stakeholder value? What do you think could be a difficulty as far as stakeholder value maximization is concerned? Any guess, guys? Okay, thank you, suppliers, investors. Okay, any guess, guys? What do you think could be a difficulty in having this as the main objective? Okay, first question, do you agree that this is a more difficult objective to perform compared to shareholder value? Yes or no, guys? Do you agree that stakeholder value maximization is more difficult than shareholder value maximization?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. The rest, guys, paki-chat. Okay. Yes. Iba? Okay, thank you. You're correct, guys. Mas mahirap ang stakeholder value maximization. Kasi hindi lang natin tinitingnan yung investors, yung shareholders. There are several other parties that we need to look into, and that will make the attainment of that objective more difficult. Okay, and the main difficulty here is paano kung may conflict dun sa objective for the customer and for the, for example, creditors. You see my point? May mga bangko, for example, may mga financing institutions siguro na sasabihin nila na, okay, pero yung gantong gastos nyo hanggang ganto lang ha. Okay. So, kunyari, bago sila magpautang, may contract kasi yan. It's possible that they will say that yung gastos nyo on this one should be only a certain percent of your sales. Okay. So what if may mga kailangan igastos para maging mas okay sa customers? So this is one example where there's a conflict between yung creditors at saka customers, or pwedeng community at saka customers. So there might be conflicting values or conflicting propositions between the different stakeholders. Yun ang mahirap sa stakeholder value. Okay? So yung iba, ang sinasabi na lang, okay, we can just we focus on shareholder value, okay? Because that's more manageable to implement, and just be cognizant that there's such a thing as other stakeholders in coming up with decision. I think that's a fair enough proposition. No? Okay, so it's almost time. I just want to end in this, guys. No, so nowadays they have what we call ESG. Okay, so you're going to meet this yung ESG measures. Dati ang mini-measure lang ROA, ROE, ROI. Ngayon, companies are now looking at ESG. What are ESG measures? These are environment, social, and governance measures. Environment, social, and governance measures, ESG measures. Okay, and then I'm going to post this PowerPoint later on, guys. Now, I'll just end in this. Nowadays, hindi lang yung mini-measure, guys, yung profitability. Ito, importante na to, guys. Meron ang tinatawag na reputation index. So companies are now measured based on how they behave as a corporate citizen. Kasi from your law, kung napag-aralan nyo, di ba ang companies, they are juridical persons. So parang may buhay sila. So how do they behave? Although yung mga nagpapatakbo ng mga ng mga corporations, syempre mga tao din. So si RepTrak, for example, sabi niya, reputation matters and reputation can be measured. So I'd like you to take a look at this, no? Tingnan niyo yung mga resources dito sa ano na to. So corporate reputation, may reputation risk. Ito yung sinasabi ko guys, corporate responsibility or ESG. Okay, so please kindly read on this. Read on what ESG is all about because we're going to link that now with value maximization in our next meeting. Okay, so what I'm going to do guys is I'm going to post this later on kasama ng video. Okay, so please peruse over this. Tapos next meeting pupunta na tayo sa, we're going to go here already. Yung magsisimula na tayo sa fundamental discussions on what finance is. Yung mga principles of finance like cash is king, very important to. Time value of money, risk and return principle, what I mentioned a while ago. Market prices are generally right. There's the agency problem, etc. Okay, so this is what we're going to discuss. Then after this, guys, we now go to the lesson proper on financial statements. Okay, any questions, guys? Any questions?
Wala po, sir.
Salamat. May value ba yung discussion natin ngayon?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Meron naman po, sir.
Salamat ha, salamat. Guys, I'd like really to appreciate you for contributing sa mga discussion. No? This lesson will not really be possible kung hindi kayo magko-contribute. Kaya maraming salamat. Okay, with that guys, thank you. Yung mga late, no? Yung mga hindi pa na-record. Thank you ha, salamat.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Stay
sir.
safe, guys.
Sir,
Stay safe.
attendance pala po, sir.
Sino yung...
Thank you,
Sige,
sir.
sige. Stop recording pala.